Kuhn is the fullback with the first and goal. Kuhn gets the call. Pyle driving his way in for the touchdown. What a great second effort.
Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the here comes the here comes the y'all don't really want it like that. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like blood. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful.
Wolf back. What's going on? It's your boy, the Wolf of Roto Street. RotoStreetJournal.com. We breed and feed you fantasy wolves. Here with your Week 4 fantasy tailgate. As always, joined by my boy, CJay, live with the London game going on in the background. A real barn burner of action we've got over here to kick off your mornings. My man, CJay, how we doing today?
Oh, great. Top of the morning to you.
Yeah, you got your Premier League, the London gear on, ready for the game. Awesome. Love it. You have any action going right now? You know, any leagues, anything of that nature?
Well, actually, on one of our sponsors, they didn't update the Ingram prop. So it was sitting at 22 when Kamara was out. So that just went over in the second quarter. So that was a free
Hammered
square.
it. Yeah, prize picks over there, right? Yeah. So hopefully any of you guys saw that as well. Definitely a smash spot there. Nice. Yeah, I don't have much fantasy investment. I do have Thielen in one league, and he's kind of chipping away, churning, which I like to see. Let us know if you guys got anyone going. But more
also love seeing Olave get in the end zone for the first time.
Oh, yeah. He's such a stud. I fucking love that kid. Yeah, just a no-brainer, high-end wide receiver, too, moving forward. Mm-hmm. Love every single second about it. But welcome on in, Wolfpack. As you get here, like, shares, retweets, all that good stuff to help us grow is so greatly appreciated. Of course, start filling up that mailbag. The call-in link is down there. So if you want to call in, a guaranteed answer for call-ins, for super chats, and we typically get through all your questions. By the end, it's usually a rapid fire, though. So if you want a nice detailed answer, get on in early, get your questions in, and, of course, super chats and call-ins will get preference. We got quick Thursday night football takeaways. There's not a ton other than prayers up for Tua. I mean, that was just nuts. Takeaways, not preview. The takeaways, prayers up for Tua. Obviously, a scary, scary hit. You're seeing people get fired now. You know, obviously mishandled whatever's going on there in Miami. There's repercussions right now, and we'll see what the whole fallout is. But fantasy-wise, it looks like he's going to be out 2 to 4 weeks. Was on pace to a really solid season. That 140-point blow-up showed the upside this offense has, that Tua has. He's going to be sidelined. Now, in 2 QB leagues, maybe you do check out Teddy Bridgewater. He's got good weapons. He can deliver them. He had a nice strike to Tyreek Hill down the field. There's worse backup QBs in the league to be stepping in. Otherwise, I don't know, even with how good these weapons are, I don't know that Teddy needs to be rostered in leagues. I don't think he needs to be rostered in leagues, even in the most QB-desperate 1 QB leagues. But if you have 2 QBs, it is a pretty shitty position overall this year. Outside the big 3, like, it is just turmoil. So Teddy Bridgewater could come into some value, a guy to check out if you're really desperate, and especially in 2 QB leagues. Other than that, you saw the Miami backfield. Chase Edmonds drops a touchdown pass and then proceeds to see Mostert get 15 carries, 2 receptions as well, compared to just 5 touches, 5 carries and 2 receptions for Edmonds. He salvaged his day with a TD, but that kind of keeps happening. It's like, okay, maybe this offense is good enough. Well, without Tua, I can't trust that type of workload. I'd much rather have, at this point, Mostert in my lineups, given that he's seeing right around 14 to 20 touches any given week. Doesn't look all that great with him, though. It's not a backfield you have to be starting, but if it's one or the other, to me, it's Mostert. Just a little messy. I still think Chase Edmonds looks way better every time he touches the rock, but clearly either in the doghouse or just that's the way they're scheming to use their highest paid running back. It makes no sense to me. Joe Mixon had a nice day, ends up with 15 fantasy points. Should have been in the 20s, though.
I think he's like done. He looks terrible. he had so many receptions. He had 4 receptions, 5 receptions
for 13 yards.
A ton that was great.
So inefficient.
And then a ton of carries. Like, they tried to get the running game going, and he just couldn't do anything.
24 for 61, just gross. I don't know necessarily it's him. The line just still hasn't gelled, and that's what happens with new lines. You know, they continuity is always preached as such a big factor for offensive line play. So we're seeing that come into fruition. This line that was supposed to be revamped, supposed to be monstrous, isn't doing what it's supposed to do. We saw him get ran right into the asses of his linemen 6 straight times, not plunged in. That was so frustrating. So good day. Should have been a great day. Definitely a little bit of a concern that line is not performing up to expectations. On the other side, of the receiving game there. T. Higgins, another monster, 7 for 124 and a touchdown. Scored more points than Jamar Chase on every game but one so far this year. And that's when he left and got hurt. Crazy stat here. When they've been on the field together, analyzing the 754 routes they played together, our man Dwayne McFarland doing the dirty work, digging into that. T. Higgins, 160 targets, 109 receptions, 1675 yards, and 10 TDs, compared to 144 targets, 95 catches, 1574, and 10 for Jamar Chase. So outperforming Chase in pretty much every metric right now when they are on the field together. I still would rather have Chase in my leagues, I think, but like this is still a 1A, 1B, really 1A, 1A type of situation, whereas it had looked like Chase might pull away at the end of last year during the playoff run. It's not the case. I mean, Higgins is just as good, and given that he's facing secondary corners, honestly, maybe even better production-wise from a week-to-week basis. And last but not least, Tyreek Hill. These guys keep flip-flopping, him versus Waddle. Obviously we saw the weeks where they both can blow up when two is chucking it 50 times and they're in a shootout-style game. But otherwise, it could be a little dicey each and every week. Last week it was Waddle. This week it was Hill. 10 catches, 14 targets, 160 yards. He was definitely the go-to guy for Teddy Bridgewater when he came in. So moving forward, I'd expect him to be a little bit more productive than Waddle, who only had over 30, just barely over 30 yards. But I still like Waddle as a high-end wide receiver, too. You're not benching him just because Teddy's in there. They'll get their chemistry down. So that's what I had for Thursday takeaways. Anything, CJ, is there any players I didn't touch upon that we need to mention?
No, I think you covered it right there. Can't really add anything on top of that.
There we go. So let's rip through this news for you, Wolfpack. The mailbag is growing. CJ, are we up on Facebook? I knew there were some technical difficulties. That's why we were 5 minutes late. Do you mind checking that?
Let me check, yeah. 1 second.
And as we get that checked out, again, that thumbs up button. We're used to 50 people in here. It's looking like only 25 or so right now. So please do a favor, Wolfpack. Give us that thumbs up. Give us shares, likes, retweets. We want to get out to more people, answer more questions, help more people get those.
Yeah, we're live everywhere.
Okay, perfect. Just making sure. Let's hit the news. And there's a decent amount of news today. Not like a ton of notes, but really impactful news really around the league right now. Quarterback's the least impacted position, but Mac Jones will not play this week. It makes all Patriots ugly. Jacoby Myers is also out anyways. He might be the one guy you could have trusted with Hoyer. This offense is going to run through the backs. I actually don't mind playing, especially Ramondre, after he took up the majority of snaps, nearly 80% of the receiving work, seeing a bunch of the goal line, like a near even split the goal line. He had a low-end RB1 profile in terms of usage and talent-wise. He's proven to be one of the most efficient backs every single time he touches the rock. I really like Ramondre. I'm 7 spots higher than the ECR in him. Mm-hmm. I know that this offense could be gross and get stalled out a bit, but DVOA-wise, Football Outsiders, the Packers are dead last. If they're going to have any shot at being competitive, it's through their defense, and it's especially through these backs. So I like Ramondre. I like Harris a little bit less just because of the lower receiving ceiling, but still a good play for a touchdown bet or so. So if you got Ramondre, let us know. You got Harris. Let us know if you got some questions to compare him to. But I have no problem getting both, and especially Ramondre, into my lineups today. Really big fan. I think that's how they're going to lean on them. Does Hoyer scare you off of the entire offense, CJ? Are you with me that the backs are playable at least?
Yeah, no, I mean, is it even going to make that big of a difference? I really don't.
Is it right? Exactly.
Mac Jones he played pretty well. He's better than his stats showed last week, but it's not, the offense is still going to suck. So I'm not really worried about it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Ramondre would be a guy I'd play. There are no receivers. Bourne still is in the doghouse.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. He's only 5,200 on DraftKings and projected for low ownership too. He's one of my big plays of the day, under-owned type of guy. So I hate that I don't drive the ownership up too high here with all the DFS aficionados watching the show here. But I like that one a lot as a cheap punt. Everybody going to Herbert at 5,700, and rightfully so. A great play in his own right. As we'll get to running backs now, David Montgomery is officially ruled out, which does set up Khalil Herbert, the running back one of last week, over 30 fantasy points on a monster day, right back into the thick of things. The big thing with him was last week, took over 65% of the receiving work, 68% route run, 70% of the targets that running back went to him. So it was potentially a split between him and Ebner when, if something happened to Montgomery. Now we have clear confirmation. It is 80% Herbert. Ebner will sprinkle in a little bit, but I think he is a smash play, locked in running back one this week. If you have him, you're using him. This is why you have him. We saw all the metrics too. I was shocked by one stat I heard was other than Nick Chubb, Khalil Herbert has the most 10-plus yard runs in the NFL this year. And he has 30 less carries than Nick Chubb. And he's one away from him right now. So like the guy has been explosive. He's been breaking tackles. He's got the third highest like tackles broken per touch type of rate right now. So all the efficiency metrics pop for this guy, all the profiles you want to see in a elite running back. I mean, he checks the boxes. Looking really good. There's no doubt in my mind. You got to play Khalil Herbert.
If you're a defensive coordinator playing the Bears, why don't you just put 8 in the box?
Why don't you put 12? Like your entire sideline in the box. Like they averaging 78.3 passing yards per game. Just absolutely abysmal. You got to imagine they do, but Herbert's been proven to be able to beat that anyways. So I have no worries about him. Similarly, Jamal Williams. I have actually gotten this question. Who do you prefer between Jamal Williams and Khalil Herbert? Given that Swift won't play, Seahawks also suck. Right now, Williams already, even with Swift in, leads the NFL in red zone carries and touchdowns. So he kind of, that comparison that Ian Hartitz has made all offseason, including when he joined our podcast, the James Conner and Jamal Williams, like that's come to fruition probably more than anybody's wildest dreams could have, like right now. And so this is as if Chase Edmonds is gone, even bigger of a force than Chase Edmonds in the offense with Swift. So I love Jamal Williams given the work we're already seeing him get. For some reason, I like Herbert more. I don't know if he just feels like a sexier talent or based on what we saw last week. If it was one versus the other, I think I'd go Herbert. Hopefully you don't have to even decide that. You just
I'd go Herbert too.
You'd go Herbert too? Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess we're aligned.
Last year when Swift was out, Craig Reynolds had that huge game, and Jamal Williams didn't look great as a starter then.
He was banged up, though. I did want to say, I've seen that a lot out there too. Williams was banged up in his own right. He had like a groin injury or something like that. Wasn't at full strength. Certainly didn't look like the runner he looks like right now. And we've seen him shoulder some huge workloads in Green Bay. I'd expect 18 to 20 touches, but you did mention Craig Reynolds, a guy I wanted to touch upon. If you're desperate, if you lost Kamara today and you need like a desperation plug-in, I know Hills, she lost Kamara and Montgomery in the same week and did not have Herbert. So she's looking at like McKinnon was already her running back one, and now she needed a backup. I know it's ugly. I picked up Craig Reynolds for it. Like the guy, as you mentioned, makes plays every time he's used. You got that Hard Knocks love, that narrative there. I could see him getting like a sneaky 10 to 12 touches, finding the end zone. Again, we're talking desperation. Like I'm not saying Craig Reynolds is some smash spot today, but if you're desperate at running back, a couple of these injuries that surprised you have left you hanging. I think Craig Reynolds is you could do worse as somebody who's out there.
They kind of prefer committee too.
They do. Yeah, exactly. Like what if Jamal Williams suddenly loses the goal line role and that goes to Craig Reynolds this week for whatever reason? They like have the running back one always subbed out. I don't know. Probably not the case. Like, let's be real here. It's probably James Conner style when Edmonds was out, like 25 touches, a bunch of receiving work now too. I think Williams is a smash spot. Honestly, I think I do like him more than Herbert the more I think about it. But all that to say, I think Craig Reynolds, if you're desperate, could be a play. But let us know if you have questions on any of those injured backs. Some backs that are likely to play. James Conner off the injury report, good to go. I saw a stat. He has run 25 or more routes every single time he's made it through a full game. So 2 of the 3 games this year. That only happened once last year. So the receiving work is there. The snap load is there. The touchdowns just haven't been falling in his favor. That could change. At 6,300, if you want to pivot away on DraftKings, away from Jamal Williams, I think James Conner's a great play. The Panthers are pretty decent against the pass. J.C. Horn locking down number 1 so far this year, but giving up well over bottom half of the league in terms of against the running back. So I love James Conner. Definitely locked into most lineups, in my opinion, as should be Patterson. Now, I know there's some concern, and Schefter did tweet out that it's close, and you have to track this to game time. One of the things we will be watching throughout this morning. Has there been any official news on if Patterson's active, CJ? I know it was optimistic. It's likely he's going to play.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. I'll check right now.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes peeled for that. If you guys see anything, feel free to toss it in the chat as well. I'm under the impression, like, if he's in, and they're going to give him his usual 15-ish touches. And he's been so explosive this year that I'd have a very hard time sitting him. Now, there is the concern. Is he banged up enough that he only gets 5 to 8 touches and they limit his workload? Then it gets ugly. So I wouldn't, like, he's not a must start. So let us know if you have Patterson questions. But 21-plus points in 2 of his 3 starts, the second leading rusher in the NFL. And you love watching him play. I mean, he's just a galloper when he's out there. So I'd have a very hard time sitting Patterson, assuming he's made active, as is the expectation right now. but let us know if you have options that you might want to try it. Like, I'd rather have Herbert. I'd rather have Jamal Williams. They're just safer. No like risk of re-injury or anything of that. Speaking of running back injuries, the poster boy of them, Christian McCaffrey, a thigh injury this week. Oh, he is such a pain in the fucking ass. He will attempt to play. The expectation is, Schefter tweeting out, he's going to be able to give it a go. It's 4:00 game, so I would probably have Foreman just to be safe, but all signs point to him going. You should expect McCaffrey in there. It's just like the painful part of this is you're going to be dealing with these headaches all year. At least when you were dealing with it in past years, it's like, okay, he's in, I'm getting 25, 30 points. Yay. Now I'm stressing this stuff, getting fucking anxiety attacks every night for 11 points. It's like, come on, this is not what I signed up for. It's one thing. I can deal with it. I can stomach it. I can have the sleepless nights if when he's in, he's getting me 30. That's not happening right now. All that being said, I could see this being his coming out party. Arizona is just atrocious on every single layer of the field, including against the running backs. So I have no qualms with starting him.
And what are these midweek injuries? Like, where are they coming from? It's like every Wednesday he just gets hurt.
Wednesday and then sits out the next 2 days just to give us headaches. Like, what are you? Yeah, you're like running him up the gut in practice and having like D linemen fall on top of him. What's happening? I don't know.
I know he's always fine on Sunday, and then randomly Wednesday it's a new ailment.
Complete and utter pain. Yeah, I hate it. We'll move on to receivers though, because there are definitely some notes here. The biggest is Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was ruled out Friday, so you've had some time to prepare. But the rest of that receiving core is also in shambles. A late rule out was DJ Chark yesterday. I had him in my top 35 receivers because I like the player. He was looking at a huge target load with no St. Brown, but now he's out. So Josh Reynolds is looking at a huge target share, and he's only 5% rostered right now. If you're desperate for a streamer, I love throwing Reynolds in. I think he's a player. Every time he gets used, he just gets it done. 10 targets, 96 yards last week. He's got double-digit points in 2 of his 3 games. Big fan of Josh Reynolds. Only 4,600 on DraftKings too. I do prefer Dubs at 4,500. And like if it's a Dubs sit start question, Romeo Dubs is my guy. Like I'm all in on him. I think he's going to torch the Pats as most people are able to do. But that being said, Reynolds is in a great spot to smash. I also think TJ Hawkinson, like this could be a big week for him. We've seen it in the past. He started as the main vein of this passing attack last year. So like him and Goff had that rapport where Goff has no problem giving him. We saw 12 target days last year, 25-point days, facing a Seahawks team giving up the 8th most points to tight ends. He's my number 5 tight end for the week. I love Hawkinson this week. Love him at 4,100 on DraftKings too. So if you have a tight end question related to Hawkinson, he doesn't look quite as explosive as he looked like last year either though. So like a little sluggish, but I think he's going to see 10 targets today. And at tight end, that's so rare. I think Reynolds will see it. I think my Holy Cross boy, Khalif Raymond, like 3,100 complete Hail Mary on DraftKings, but nobody's going to have him in their lineup. So that could be a potential toss in as well. Because this Lions team is good. Like, I mean, they're averaging over 30 points per game. Like they're, I think 3rd in the NFL in scoring, like 5th in pace. And this is a fun offense. And yeah, of course it will slow down with 2 of their best players out now, but it's a philosophical standpoint. Plus their defense is so bad. Somebody's going to be putting up some good receiving numbers today. I'd be betting on Hawkinson first, Reynolds next, and then it's a complete Hail Mary on DraftKings, maybe Khalif Raymond. Is there any weapons I'm overlooking, CJ? It's a weird receiving core now. So
yeah, no, I love Reynolds today. He's in 2 of my DraftKings lineups. I love his props, everything with him.
Do you like him over Dubs? Like, where do you lean on?
Honestly, I think I would. I feel like he'll have a higher target share.
He's more locked in. That's true. Because Watson's back this week.
Exactly. I think like a PPR league, especially. I think he's easily a lock for 10 targets. I
think so too. Actually, yeah, I might have to recheck my lineups because I know I have Dubs locked in most. Maybe I have to switch that up. It's close. I love them both. Man, it's gonna be interesting, but definitely some good volume up for grabs. Some bad volume up for grabs in New York, where Wandale and Tony are out. Richie James, 4K on DraftKings. He's leading the team already with 17 targets on the year, 14 catches, I believe, on the season. He's had 10 plus PPR points in 2 of his 3 weeks. It's gross. I'm not saying you got to hammer Richie James, but again, desperation. Like give me, Reynolds way ahead of him. Give me Dubs, of course, ahead of him. But if you're completely and utterly desperate and you're looking for something out there, Richie James is going to see 7 to 8 targets. He's had a 184-yard day before it is past. I mean, they're a gross but kind of ceiling here. I don't want to start him. I'd certainly rather have Josh Palmer, who's only 29% rostered right now. He's another one. So that's another one to toss into that like Reynolds, Dubs, or Palmer. Some really good options there with Keaton Allen ruled out for Sunday's game. We saw him see 9 targets, or was it even 9 catches on like 10 targets last week? He's every single time Keaton Allen's been out, he's had 14 or more fantasy points. He's been a top 24 receiver in like 3 of those 5 weeks, and he's been top 36 in all of them. He gets it done without Keenan. He's a nice, safe, steady option facing Houston, like a really bad defense. I really like Palmer too. There's a lot of interesting streamers this week at the wide receiver position. How would you rank? Where does he slide in so I know you have Reynolds at the top compared to Dubs. Where would Palmer slide into that for you?
Oh, I'm a Palmer guy.
So is he the top?
Yeah, I think I would. I think he'd be the number 1 streamer today. I wrote an article a few days ago on receiver streamers, and he was my clear guy. But I mean, I don't know what his percentage is now. I know he was around 30%.
Yeah.
Now, it's just I wrote that in the article. He reminds me of Tim Patrick last year, where every single week he's doing something, and he's just always available for some reason.
Yeah, it's just safe and yeah, exactly. Like, I think that's a great comparison. The ceiling, he probably isn't going to go off for 25, just like Tim Patrick never was, but 15, pretty bankable. So yeah, I really like Josh Palmer today as well. The other streaming receiver is Matt Collins. I mean, 30 fantasy points last week. Now they're facing Denver, the best, fewest points allowed to wide receivers in the league. No Renfro is why Matt Collins is viable again. He's led the team in receiving back-to-back weeks. I don't want to go there, though. I'd much rather any of the first 3 guys being Josh Palmer, Josh Reynolds, or who the hell was the other one that we were just talking about? I can't even remember now. Who's the other receiver we were just talking about? Oh, Dubs, of course. Romeo Dubs. Yeah. But he's not out there in leagues anymore. It's more so if you had already picked him up type of thing. Mm-hmm. All of those guys well above Matt Collins, but Derek Carr likes him. So 4,200 on DraftKings. I do prefer Zay Jones as well, who's going to be active today. Saw 11 targets, 10 catches last week. Great chemistry with Trevor Lawrence. So a big fan of him as well as a potential streamer. The last waiver wire guy, now not somebody I want to start, but I'd be intrigued to stash 2 of them. One is Michael Gallup. He's off the injury report. He's still under 40% rostered right now. I don't get that. I mean, this is a legitimate NFL, high-end wide receiver talent. We saw him last time he was the number 2 in this offense was 2019. Wide receiver 18 on the year. 51% of his game were in the top 24 wide receiver performances. This guy can get it done. They chose him over Cooper. They decided to extend him, not Cooper. So clearly they love the talent, have big plans for him down the road. I don't know how this guy's not more widely rostered, and Dak's going to be back next week. I'm not saying start Gallup this week, but he should be 100% rostered by the end of this week. So again, go check what you're doing. I said this last week. Hopefully you listen then. If not, check what you're doing right now. Check if Gallup's there, because you're going to have yourself a nice wide receiver too the rest of the year, in my opinion. The other guy out there in a lot of leagues right now is Rondell Moore. Now, I'm not in love with Moore, but we've seen Dort see 9, 10, 11 target days in the slot. It's a high volume role. I do think Moore is the guy they want to be that guy. And he's going to be back today. 17% rostered entering today. Explosive talent that, when used, has pretty much thrived. A guy that I'm intrigued to give a tryout. Not somebody I'm trying to start today. 3,800 on DraftKings, maybe I'd toss him in there. But a guy that is worth, at least if you have bench trash that you want to see what could happen today, someone out there to check out.
You can stream him for a week or 2, and then he'll be hurt again.
Yeah, and Hawkins will be back. He's definitely the lowest priority of all these guys we've been talking about. But again, they hyped him up huge all preseason, then he suffered the injury, and that's probably going to be the trend with him. He's a tiny little guy. You're just bitter because he took down your Ohio State team single-handedly that year. I can sense that.
A little bit. I respect it though.
Oh yeah, that was a good team that he thrived. Other news, Gabe Davis practiced against this Baltimore secondary. Now, I'm no longer calling him Babe. I can't call him Daddy. He's like the stepdad that's absentee and doesn't really like you right now.
Yeah,
that's the daddy we've come to
he just started dating your mom, and now he's
now he doesn't like you anymore. Yeah. He's kind of get this little shit out of here.
Yeah.
When's he moving out? Why is this 15-year-old in our basement? He's trying to kick you out. No, I could see him still having some splash weeks. Big coming home with a big present for you every now and again. Gets a gets a nice little bump at work and treats you out to a nice dinner. He's still going to have his splash weeks, and I think this is definitely one where Gabe Davis could have a big splash. I mean, the Baltimore secondary, the most points to wide receivers on the year, so banged up, particularly susceptible to the big play. I just love this game. Like, I love targeting this game. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout between Baltimore and I don't see how it's not. Like, the defense is good for Buffalo, even with their injuries, but nobody's been able to stop Lamar. Nobody's been able to stop Josh Allen. I'd be shocked. Like, there should have been way more points. The Bills expected points last week. They got stuffed in the red zone way too many times. They should have put up like 45 points based on how often.
It makes no sense. Yeah, if you were to cover the score and just look at the stats, like Josh Allen had 400 yards passing. They
like doubled up the yards on him almost. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So I'm with you. I think this game just goes nuts. And Gabe Davis is probably going to be a big part of that. I actually, now I'm thinking of it, like, don't have any DraftKings lineups with Davis in there. He was 6,300, just like other guys look better to me. But I'm going to make an alternate lineup because I have a lot of Diggs and Allen stacks. What if they sell out to stop Diggs and, like, you have a big daddy day, a stepdaddy day? We got to call him from now on. But yeah, if I own him, I have Gabe Davis in my lineups today. Like, this is, if he doesn't do it against this secondary, when's it happening? Does make, Isaiah McKenzie, a guy we hyped up throughout the week, a little less sexy. But honestly, last week, all of them were out there. McKenzie saw 9 targets. Like, kind of helps him to have these field stretchers out there, gets peppered in the slot. I'd love to see him continue to separate from Jamison Crowder. They did, still about a 60-40 rotation right now, and that's capping the ceiling a little bit. But he did have 19 fantasy points last week. Like, McKenzie could be viable if you need a punt. Where would you rank in terms of, like, Reynolds versus McKenzie this week?
Actually, I like McKenzie a lot this week. I think just like the better offense, I guess I'd go with McKenzie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like him a lot. Now that I think of it, I do want to add him in my DraftKings, but
McKenzie's 5,100, so he's not like completely cheap, but again, he's right around Palmer's price range. Like, somebody at 5,000, 5,100 or so, it's going to have like a 25, 30 point day. Easy.
All these, so there's so many cheap receivers where you're able to do like the Diggs Allen stack along with like 1 or 2 really good running backs too.
I know. And on DraftKings, for the record, like as you mentioned, I love this game, this Buffalo and Baltimore game. I don't hate Duvernay at 4,100. I mean, the guy, it's inconsistent, it's scary, but he keeps scoring touchdowns after touchdowns. We know it's our boy Chillard. I don't know if he's tuned in today. That's his guy over there. It could just evaporate at any minute, given that it's like 3-4 targets a game, but he makes the most of them. He makes big plays. Kind of like Duvernay at 4,100 as well. I get like all these other names we've talked about more, but if you're trying to kind of stack the atmosphere, not a bad play. Knox 3,800. He's in today. This could be the 2 touchdown day for Knox. Like, we've been just banking on it, waiting for it for so long here. Think that covers just about all the notes. The only other one I wanted to mention, we mentioned Myers is out for wide receiver. AJ Brown, new son narrative. I think it was a daughter. I don't know if it's a son or a daughter. New child. I know that. He was absent from practice for the birth of a child, new baby boy. So just saw the headline. We've seen it before. It's a weird trend, but when an NFL player has, especially a stud NFL player, has a kid, they almost always blow up that week, like dedicating their performance to their newborn, whatever it might be. Like, Hurts, who visited the baby, the birthday party for his daughter.
He's probably the godfather.
I know. Yeah, maybe at this point, the way he's peppered him, he's earned the right to be the godfather. So AJ Brown, you didn't need any encouragement to be starting him, but I'm just thinking this is an AJ Brown destruction type of day, like 30 point. Can't wait for him to go absolutely bananas to honor his new son. And then tight ends, not a ton of notes, but Dalton Schultz is expected to play. Again, very, very bankable volume at an unbankable position. Even with Cooper Rush in, you're going to get 9 to 10 targets probably. I like Dalton Schultz. He's right around my top 10 tight ends. And then TJ Hawkinson off the injury report. As mentioned, I think he's going to see 10, maybe 12 targets today. My top 6 tight ends, really, really like TJ Hawkinson today. Even in like flex consideration, if you have interested, like you have, like, let's say you have Andrews, but then you're like, okay, maybe I could flex Hawkinson or something today. Let me know, because I really, really think Hawkinson has himself like an 18, 20-point day. Defensive injuries as well. J.C. Jackson's going to be in for the Texans, making Cooks even less sexy. He's already kind of done himself like a lot of unfavors. And Shaquille Leonard is questionable. I don't know if he's going to be in. So that is all the news I can think of. Did anything come in on Cordarrelle Patterson or anything of that nature yet?
Yeah, Campanelli told us Tony Grossi, Browns beat writer, tweeted Patterson completed a brief workout in front of trainers and coaches. Couldn't tell if the brevity was good or bad for his status. So just more questions.
Just more clouds around the situation there. Jeez. Oh, man. All righty. Well, as you guys are here for, it is your time for your questions. Before we get there, though, we do want to shout out our presenting sponsor for the month of September, but these last few days of October as well. No House Advantage. They're changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. Playing pick'em contests versus other people for the shot at winning $250K plus in cash. Download the app, choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for correct picks, and climb the leaderboard for your shot to win big money every day. You can also test your skills versus the house in 20 times your entry if you hit all your picks. Bet on up to 5 player or prop over-unders, individual player matchups across every major sports league, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, MMA, and NASCAR. Sign up now with promo code RSJ at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app on the app stores to get a first deposit match up to $25. Make sure to check out No House Advantage today and experience daily fantasy sports redefined, because it's not just how you play, but also where you play. You won't want to miss out on this. I know I sound like a broken record, one, because I'm reading the same thing every time, but at the end of it, I also want to emphasize their contests are like half full every single Sunday. I know, CJ, you've been like a pick away from thousands of dollars on multiple of these contests right now. So there's some big money up for grabs. And I keep mentioning too, multiple users have gone and done like the 5-player picks, 20 times your winnings, $25 bets to win $500, already over $1,000 on just 2 bets so far. Like, check them out. They're a great app. We've been lucky to have a great sponsorship deal with them. It sounds like the Wolfpack has been showing up for them. They're very pleased with the numbers so far, which that makes me just so happy and so appreciative of you guys that have gone and checked it out for us, because it looks good on us. It signs us up for future deals and things of that nature. So just my thanks to you guys, for anybody out there that has checked it out. And if you haven't already, do go check out No House Advantage. It's a great app with, again, tons of money up for grab, tons of overlay. Cannot recommend it higher enough. CJ, you had some picks you want to share with us for you this week. As mentioned, you're like one pick away from thousands of dollars. Did you have your screen share ready?
Let me pull it up one sec.
We'll pull it up there. We'll show you CJ's top 10 picks for today. I recommend you just tail him, because, again, he's been like an inch away from multiple thousands of dollars on these tournaments. And we do see multiple call-ins here. I cannot wait to pull in you guys. Thank you again for your patience as we get ready to answer all your questions. Let's check out CJ's No House Advantage picks for the week, though, first.
All right, yeah. So you're supposed to do it in confidence for these picks, the pick'em contest. So my first one is just Khalil Herbert at 60.5 rushing yards. One of our friends, Zenos, just sent us his DraftKings sportsbook picks, and he has Khalil Herbert at 74 rushing yards. So we're getting a 12 extra yards, 13 yards.
Like shaved off. Yeah, love that.
So we have Herbert over, Josh Allen over. He's coming off a 400-yard game. He's basically a 300-yard lock every single week, especially against the secondary. Eckler, I love Eckler this week. I know he's been horrific, but 51 yards, come on, against a team that just let up 1 million yards to Herbert.
Yeah.
Mike Williams week, 64.5 receiving yards. I also liked his over receptions. I believe it was 5 or 5.5.
Oh, yeah.
Either or I like. Barkley, we put this in every week, hits every week, 30.5 receiving yards.
Oh, come on.
Trevor
How is that not
Lawrence,
up to 50 yet?
I know.
He smashes it every single time.
And then Trevor Lawrence, of course, I'm a big Jag guy. So I just 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. In that game atmosphere, how the Eagles put up their points. Yeah, I like that one.
Exactly. We have a Doug Peterson revenge game. He's going to be wanting to throw the ball around.
Yeah.
And then our guy, Justin Fields, 1.5 touchdown passes on the under. My only under, of course. He needs to actually throw the ball 2 times.
How could he ever hit more than 1.5 when he throws the ball 5 times the freaking game?
Exactly.
And to be 1.5 pass attempts is a freaking line. Seriously.
Then Amari Cooper against that secondary is not great. He's really hot right now. 5.5 receptions. He'll be targeted probably 10 times.
10 and 11 targets in back-to-back weeks. Easy. Like that one a lot.
And then Rashad Penny, 62.5 rushing yards. Great matchup against Detroit. I mean, I don't know. When it gets down to like the 1 and 2 spot, I just kind of see what pops out really quickly and throw it in. And then Cooper Rush is last week starting probably against the Commanders. He has Michael Gallup back, Schultz back. I like him to throw for at least 2 touchdowns.
Nothing like a good Cooper Rush bet to wrap it on up. Good stuff. Again, check out nohouseadvantage.com, code RSJ, $25 match, some great picks, some good ideas for you there. Duck coming in with a private chat here too, though, just to be wary of the Jags-Philly weather. Pouring, tarp out on the field could make some of those passing props a little sketchy, or maybe slows down the shootout style atmosphere that we're hoping for. I still love it, but it could become a sloppy run fest. Those defenses are better than I think they're given credit for. As good as the offenses are, those defenses have both been playing really well. So that game could get a little uglier. Thank you, Duck, for private chatting in that is an ugly situation. We had one super chat I want to make sure to hit first, then we'll get to our call-ins and then the rest of the questions. Starting out with our boy Charlie. Thank you for the support, my man.
Gabe Davis or Drake London. Loves my Chelsea kit.
Gotta
do it for the lads out in London this week.
Lads out in London, baby. I love it. This is a really tough one. I have London a spot, maybe 2 spots higher, just because I can bank on 8 to 10 targets with London. He's been so good. Cleveland's been really bad too. I saw Cleveland's given up the 8th most points. I think it's top 10 in terms of points allowed to quarterbacks, and they faced like Trubisky and Joe Flacco and one other complete and utter shit bomb, like not a single good quarterback, and they've already been getting bombed. So I have no problem firing up Mariota and London. That's one of my, if I'm not going into that, trying to target that big stack between, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson on DraftKings, I really like going to Mariota today at 5,600. So I'm going to go London as the much safer pick. Now, if you're a big underdog, I hate to do these type of prefaces, but it is the truth. Like Daddy Davis does have, Step-Daddy Davis, again, we're going to be calling him from now on, has 2 touchdown, like blow up against this Ravens team. I mean, 2 touchdowns. We've seen 4 touchdown days out of Daddy. So like the ceiling is there for sure with Gabe Davis against a very bad, susceptible to big play secondary. So you have to balance that out. I'm going to say Drake London in like 70% of situations. But if I'm like a heavy underdog, I go Gabe Davis and hope he just has like a 40-point day. What about you, CJ? You think any differently on that one?
Yeah, that's honestly, I hate agreeing with you again. We're on 2 weeks in a row where I'm disagreeing with everything you say. But yeah, I feel you. I mean, yeah, I'm going Drake London. And then, as you said, if you got smashed by Higgins, got smashed by Burrow, anything else that happened on Thursday night, if you're a big dog, I'd go Davis.
I know. The tricky thing with Davis, like in terms of the floor, what if the ankle thing? I think he like aggravated in practice it once this week. Like he's had ankle issues kind of throughout his career so far. Wasn't much of a factor last week either, and kind of just like looked a little lackadaisical. I don't know if he was just playing banged up, but there were just some routes where he didn't seem like he was going at full speed. So I'd like to, if I have a good enough option like Drake London, I'd like to see Gabe Davis get his feet back under him. But again, that could also cost you like a 40-point blow up. So I get that like worry as well. But yeah, we're both in agreement. London, the safer play. I think you're locking in 14 points, and there is still, we can't act like there's not a ceiling with London. He's so good. Like in a dynasty league, I mean, I would have him right in that, like maybe a tier below Jefferson, like right in that like top 7 conversation. He is a absolute monster. I know Duck's about to come on for a call-in. How do you trade up and take Kenneth fucking Walker, Duck, over Drake London? I know I shit on you when it happened, and now I'm just going to continue to open up and let the shit pour on you. I don't know how you did that, but maybe you can justify it in your call-in. We will see. Thank you again, Charlie, for the super chat. Drake London is our play. Let's get to some call-ins and then get to all your questions. Reminder, super chats and call-ins do get preference. And as you're waiting, that thumbs up button is so greatly appreciated. Shares, likes, retweets, all that good stuff. Thanks again, Wolfpack. David, keeping the streak alive, my man. What's going on, brother?
You gave me such a heart attack yesterday. I literally just almost like jumped off the house and just said it's over.
Can't miss that Roto Street stream, man. I know. I'm so sorry. I went to the Holy Cross Harvard matchup, my alma mater, Holy Cross. I scheduled it. I got up early, like was the responsible human, and tried to get all my stuff done early, only to schedule it for that exact day instead of Sunday. So Sorry for the false heart attack. I'm glad you did not leap from the house and that we have the call-in streak still alive.
So, no, I appreciate it. So this is kind of like a two-parter, potentially a three-parter, depending on how you want to break it down.
Let's hear it.
I feel like James Conner's a lock. So I have a running back position open in a full PPR league. And right now I have A.J. Dillon going, but I don't know if the Patriots are just going to take away Dillon and Jones and say, beat us through the air kind of thing. The Belichick will take your best player away. So I
don't know if he does that anymore, to tell you the truth.
So I have Zeke, Nyheim Hines, Pierce, and Jeff Wilson on the bench. Would you put any of them in over Dillon or ride out Dillon?
Ooh, not Hines. We can get rid of him in this conversation. He doesn't belong in it. I'm intrigued by Zeke, though. I mean, he looked good last week, and that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I'm gonna lean Zeke here, though. I liked what I saw. Dillon's so good, though, and I do think they're gonna beat us.
I'm sticking with Dillon myself.
I'm gonna stick with Dillon too. The more I think about it, I looked at the rankings. I don't like to peek because I like to go off the gut. But I do have Dillon 18, Zeke 20. So it's close. Like, it's not a sure thing. I kind of want to adjust my rankings, though. I feel like I like Zeke more this week. Like, Washington's bad. I think that defense is going to put him – like, Carson Wentz is going to help put him in good positions because he sucks. And he'll turn it over in a good field position. I'm going to go Zeke over Dillon. I'm going to go Zeke over Dillon. CJ's going Dillon, though, so I know we're not giving you – any clear-cut clarity here.
That's kind of where I was at. So the other part of this is I have my flex wide open. Would you shove Zeke in the flex or drop Hines to get Reynolds from Detroit?
I would go with 3 running backs at this point. I do like Reynolds a lot, but not over either Dillon or Zeke. No.
Okay.
So that actually makes it easier for us then. You just start to do running
honestly,
backs.
I wouldn't hate grabbing Reynolds, though, as a stash, especially if Amon-Ra is out, like, past the bye week, maybe. Who knows?
Their bye week is in 2 weeks, so next week
if they hold them out next week, and then,
I could see that,
like what they're doing with Swift.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's not a bad stash. You're like, what's Hines doing for you at this point? Like, Taylor's more involved as a pass catcher than we expected. So
yeah, and I really went off of the Frank Wright get Hines. He's scripted into the passing game but no, I appreciate it, guys.
Awesome. Thanks for the call in, my man. As always, keeping the streak alive. I'm sure we'll see you at the night show as well, 7:45 tonight.
Yes, you will.
Love it, David. Have a good one. Best of luck today. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right. First time call, long timer, commenter, but first time calling. Mr. Sarno, how we doing today, brother?
What's going on, boys? How we doing?
Oh, not much.
Sarno.
Excited for week 4, my man. Excited for a big
Absolutely.
week 4. How can we help you out?
So I got either Hurts or Herbert today. I know the weather's tough with Hurts right now.
I know the weather's the only reason to even consider it, and you got the smash narrative of Herbert just destroying the Texans. Probably, I'm not benching Hurts though. Like I at this point, he's kind of earned in terms of him, Lamar, and Josh Allen. Like those 3 are kind of god tier at quarterback, and even weather, whatever. I'm just playing those guys, and they've earned it. Like I can't. Your fantasy locker room, you put Hurts on the bench after what he's done, they're not going to respect that. So you got to keep Hurts in there, in my opinion. What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, I'm sticking with her, especially with his running ability. If rain, it really doesn't matter that much. I'm one that doesn't really care that much about rain. Usually it's wind, but I'm fine. Yeah. I'm fine with him too.
I'm fine. Yeah, exactly. He's more weatherproof than your typical quarterback because he just gets it done every which way. So yeah, sticking it out with Hurts.
All right, I got one more half-point PPR. Would you go with Hines or Pierce?
Pierce. I am worried about the onslaught, like we just talked about. If they get up big early, we do know he gets subbed out. But their D-line is like 32nd in terms of like the Los Angeles Chargers, and they don't have Bosa today either. They're graded at PFF's like worst D-line right now. That's with Bosa in. So no Bosa. I think early on they're going to try to establish Pierce, who's been really starting to take over. He's looked damn good while doing it. What's Hines done? Like nothing. So yeah, give me Pierce. Fire him up even in that PPR settings. I like Pierce a lot more than that.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, fellas.
Cheers. Good luck today, sir.
Yeah.
You too. Thanks.
All righty. All right. We'll go on to our next call. We've got a bunch of calls today.
Wait, we do have some news. So we have Gabe Davis officially active. Zay Jones is actually out.
Oh, really?
And then Gallup and Schultz are both active for the Cowboys.
Oh man, so I definitely have Zay Jones starting in a league and in a DraftKings lineup. So I will have to definitely log out and make sure I fix that up. As always, we do try to sign off by 12:45 just because we do have our own lineup stuff to take care of. So you said Zay Jones is out, and then who?
Gabe Davis and Schultz and Gallopin.
Okay, perfect. Good to note there. And again, pick up Gallup if he's out there in your leagues. Go get him now. I don't know how he's out there in so many leagues. Alrighty, bringing on in an RSJ legend, Mr. Duckworth. What's going on, brother?
Man, I've been having a great morning. Then I just got ran over by a bus.
Nothing like more than to ruin a great morning for the Duck. That brings me so much joy.
Yeah.
I
I've
love
been
it.
all week, and I just got over it.
I'll never let you forget.
Oh, I know. It's all right. Anyways, I guess I'll attempt to justify by saying it's unjustifiable. I can't do it. I had a rationale at the time. I was wrong.
It's all good. I know. I'm being a jerk. I got your rationale at the time too. The running back class was weak. You wanted to capitalize. I get it, but you're gonna be looking at that one for a while and then regretting it.
Oh yeah, I'll pick myself for that one for a long time.
Indeed.
But anyways, the reason I'm here, I'm kind of going back and forth, and you've alluded to it a little bit, but never directly. I'm stuck with my RB2 slot: Breece Hall or Dameon Pierce.
Ooh. My brother has the same exact question today. I actually love Hall today. Now, I know there's concern with Zach Wilson and how does that impact the fact that Breece Hall has, I'm not mistaken, I know you track running back opportunity a lot, Duck. Doesn't Breece Hall have the most targets among running backs, or he's at least tied at the top with Eckler? I'm 90% positive he has the most at the position.
I think he's either right there or he's one behind Eckler. I think he's got about 20. He might have 21.
So he's been relentlessly peppered. Now, we know that's a Flacco tendency dating back to his entire career. So it could just be that. I still think it's a part of the scheme, though, as well. Mike White was heavily targeting him. I do think he'll see 7 to 8 targets today. I think the game script will favor that as well, just kind of checking down. I mean, he looks damn good every time he touches the rock. I really like Breece Hall. I love Pierce, too, but I just think Hall taking over that third down role, 80% of the 2-minute offense, 80% of the third down work or more last week. No more Ty Johnson BS going on. Like, I'm into it. I really like Hall's role. I really like how it's continuing to evolve. I think he's going to take over and be like a 70% guy sooner than later. And maybe that's as early as this week. So I'm riding the Hall wave. It's 23 and 24 in the rankings for me. So it is a gut call, but I'm leaning Hall. Did you have a way you were leaning before?
I was leaning Hall to target share blowout opportunities, far more likely with the Chargers. Herbert said he's learning how to play with his rib injury. I really think that Pierce might unfortunately get phased out. We know I love me some Dameon Pierce.
I'm worried about that too. Exactly.
Yeah, I love Hall. I have him starting in one of my leagues. Have him starting on DraftKings. I'm big on Hall today.
Yeah, I think there's definitely more outs with Hall. 2 talents, but like all the different ways Hall can get it done versus Pierce, you need a certain narrative, and I don't know that narrative's going to happen today. So yeah. Sweet.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Best of luck with the decision. And good luck today.
Condolences to your cats last night.
We should have beaten them by 20-plus points. It's so but fly it anyways, boys. Y'all have fun.
Love the pride. Cheers. Best of luck today, Duck.
Thank you.
All righty. We got a call from our youngest Wolfpack member. What's going on, Tunes and Baby Tunes? How are we?
I wanted to call in because I saw Duck was coming on. And I want to say thank you for keeping me from making the mistake in picking Walker there. And giving me pick London.
Keep raining it on him. I love it. Let it pour. Great stuff, Tunes. You got any questions for us that we can help with?
No, just wanted to mess with Duck.
Perfect. Even better. Love it.
Perfect.
Best of luck. Cheers to the youngest Wolfpack member. We just finished designing some more clothes. We gotta get you some, Tunes. We need a baby model, and that face would be perfect.
Oh yeah, he'll model them off.
Oh, love it. Cheers. Well, best of luck this Sunday for you, good sir.
See you later.
Later. And another Sunday regular, Mr. Kevin Rice, not at the drive-thru getting his large.
Oh, look at Look at that hair. Beautiful.
I know. Yeah.
Beautiful flow too. Yeah.
Up and started watching football, and I want to move to California just for the fact that you can watch football the second you wake up. It's
amazing. Yes.
so I got the same question as I had a couple nights ago. Cordero is officially active, so that's the good news.
Yeah.
I got Mike Williams, Jeff Wilson Jr., and Damian Pierce. Like I said before, I went up against Tyreek, so he smacked me with 25 points. So I'm not sure the right way to go.
So I think Mike Williams, you got to lock in, especially when you need the upside. Like you need a guy that can go 150 and a touchdown, match Tyreek Hill, what he did. That's Mike Williams with no Keaton Allen. I know the floor is like 7 or maybe even less. Like he didn't catch a touchdown last week. It would have been pathetic. We know that floor exists. It sucks. It's scary. But when you're an underdog in that sense, you need something that can match. So I'm going to lock him in. I feel really good about him versus the Houston Texans. I mean, they suck. So I like Mike Williams. So then it comes down to Jeff Wilson, Cordarrelle Patterson, and who else?
So that actually kind of changes a little bit. So if we're throwing Mike Williams in, I can throw him in my wide receiver 2 slot. So then it's Drake London.
Keep him in too.
Yeah, of course.
That's it at that point. So
so you don't. Okay, so all those guys for one spot.
Yeah.
Jeez.
2 as well, and no one shows up on the same week. On my team, I have Henry, Eckler, Pittman, London, and no one showing up at the same time. So I win this week, so it sucks.
Damn, so many good options. The kind of the curse and the blessing, the double-edged sword of a great stacked squad, but you got to find the right chemistry, the right balance. So I think that the receivers are the route this week, especially with Patterson potentially aggravating it or limited workload because of the injury. I like Wilson, but the ceiling definitely limited there too. It's like he seems like a nice high floor 10, 12, but you're not getting, maybe he gets in the end zone, you get a 16-point splash every now and again. But I like going for Williams, going for the 30-point ceiling. And you can't bench London. I love Drake. So I'm there. Let it rip, Kevin.
All right. Best of luck today, boys. Thanks.
Cheers. Thank you. Good luck. All righty. And all right. It looks like, okay, the private chat had me a little confused. Let's try to keep that private chat as super chats only, David and Duck in there, getting distracting. I like all the commentary. But Wolfpack, we are now on to all of your questions as we hit them. That thumbs up button, shares, likes, retweets. Get more people in here. Again, we had like 15 people in there, likes, all that good stuff. Let's keep growing this audience for week 4. Here we go.
Brent Estrella. Hey, so I'm hearing good things about David Njoku, so I need 1 tight end, 1 flex. Who do I start? Njoku, Connor, Pitts. I'm going with the latter too.
Yeah, as good as the Njoku looked on Thursday, I hate the fact that he looked so good and immediately after the game, friggin' Stefanski, well, it's going to be week to week still, like it's part of the game plan this week. We saw a mismatch we want to take advantage. Njoku's a walking mismatch. Use him every week as a mismatch. It infuriates me that he's not more consistent. I think he's a good player, a good talent in an offense that needs somebody to step up other than Amari Cooper, but it's not happening regularly. I love James Conner this week, as mentioned. I think he's in a great role. And then Kyle Pitts, first signs of life last week, finds the end zone potentially maybe. I like Kyle Pitts to continue to build on what we saw last week. So, yeah, I'm with you, CJ, the latter two.
Campanelli, Superflex, start Mariota or Stafford?
Crazy that this is actually like a kind of hard question. And I'm a big fan of Mariota this week. I'm starting Mariota in my most important league. I'm benching Jared Goff with all these weapons out. Benching Carson Wentz, obviously, because I like the blow-up upside in the right matchups. Cowboys probably not the right one. So I'm starting Mariota over those guys. I don't think I bench Stafford, though. I think I keep Stafford in. The 49ers defense is very legit. So, that makes me nervous. I got to go hit the door 1 second. I'm going to go Stafford, though. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I'm going Stafford here. I mean, I'm starting Lawrence over Stafford this week, but I can't go Mariota over Stafford yet.
No, not yet. And I know it's been sketchy, but, Stafford was a couple touchdown drops away last week from, a 3-touchdown day. That offense, I have faith in McVay. I have faith in Stafford. As much as I do like Mariota as, a desperation streamer, you don't need to go there if you have Stafford as an option.
Campanelli, standard tight end, start Schultz and drop A-Rob for Conklin or Njoku and start one of them over Schultz.
I just go with Schultz. Let's see if A-Rob can get this shit together. I don't have much faith in him. I do think he could be cut bait within a week or two, but I'd hate to cut him the week that we really see him get used the right way. It's still McVay. It's still Stafford. There's still a little bit of hope. It's not like we're looking at Fields and Nagy here, where it's like, okay, we can get rid of this guy. We're not hanging on for him too long. That all being said, we see him continue to suck. We continue to see like Ben Skoranek out-targeting him and out-producing this week. Maybe we revisit this, but like Conklin or Njoku, I don't think are worth it at that point over Schultz.
No, especially with Dak likely coming back soon. I'm fine with Schultz.
Yeah, I'm fine keeping Schultz.
Also,
there.
I think having 2 tight ends on your roster is just such a pain in the ass because you're going to pick the wrong one most of the weeks.
Yeah, Schultz is a good enough one. You don't need to.
Campanelli, standard running back, pick 1. Saquon starting. So Gibson, Pierce, Pollard, Dillon. I think, didn't he just ask this? But...
I'm going to go Dillon there. Yeah, standard league, especially going for the touchdown. Like Dillon's, top 3 right now in goal line usage. So, yeah, I'm going to go Dillon there.
Yeah, especially in standard. If it was PPR, maybe Pollard, but I'm going to start Dillon.
We got to pick one more to flex. I'm not going to do either of those receivers, Dotson or A-Rob. I mean, Gibson. I think you got like one more.
That was the first one that I kind of looked at.
I actually wanted to say this too, is Brian Robinson looking to get cleared next week. So this is like your last call on Gibson. I think this is your last chance to use him. He's found the end zone every single week so far, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not week 1, but he had like 8 catches to kind of balance it out. So I'm going to go Gibson, even though it's an uglier matchup versus the Cowboys. Because I think this is your last chance to use him. Brian Robinson, check your waiver wire. He's still out there in over half of leagues right now. You can put him in your IR if you have IR spots. Even if not, he was looking to take over the starting role. The fact that he got shot like 4 weeks ago and is going to be taking the field and like he's made it something different. Like that's what you want. You don't ever want to see it, of course, but you like that type of recovery. It's just kind of like when AP had like a torn ACL and was back in like a month. It's just like, what the hell? Like people, they're just built different. And then Brian Robinson might just be one of those different guys. So I think he's worth stashing right now. Check your waiver wire for him. I'd rather have a Gallup if it's one or the other, but that's where I'm leaning there.
Campanelli with another spam comment. Full PPR, tight end start Everett or drop Everett for Conklin or Logan Thomas.
I'd go Everett with no Keaton Allen, Houston, like good matchup today. Yeah, give me Everett today.
And then would you start Stafford or Goff?
Stafford, yeah.
Stafford easily too.
Goff without his weapons, no thank you.
Matthew Noto, thoughts on Treylon Burks today after they said he was going to get more opportunities. As of right now, I'm starting him over A-Rob, Lazard, and Zay Jones, who's now out.
Zay Jones is out. I like Burks. I like the call, Noto. I mean, he's running a ton of routes, and he's starting to see his opportunity increase, and I think he's made the most of it when he's gotten his looks. So if the team is going to commit to it, I'm in. I like it. So, yeah, I'm into that one. Our boy Giuseppe.
Top of the morning, fellas. Ayuk or A-Rob PPR? Going Ayuk here.
I'm going Ayuk. Yeah, I really like Ayuk this week. The giving up the second most points to wide receivers right now, the Rams are. I'm in. I love Ayuk.
He was featured in your hire this week.
Oh, yeah, definitely was.
DJ Johnson, what's up, boys? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you, DJ. Let's get it today.
Rushing yard, Mac Hollins, A-Rob, Jahan Dotson.
I kind of like Dotson. I know he's coming off a down game, but I just love the player. I know it's inconsistent. It's weird because the 2 5-target days, he blew up. Then he saw 8 targets. So we saw an increase in his role. Didn't do much with those 8 targets, though. But I think that's a sign of things. Like he's just going to keep increasing his role. He's out there for every snap. And he's a great player. So I'm into Dotson. I don't want to trust A-Rob if I don't have to. And as much as Mac has performed well, the Broncos secondary does scare me. So I'm going Dotson here. What are your thoughts?
I think this is where I draw the line with A-Rob. I'm going to give him one more week, especially against these two. I'll go A-Rob here.
All righty. There we go. So A-Rob is still in CJ's good graces. I don't know why. Fuck that guy.
Well, I don't know if he's good. It's not a good grace. It's just he's above like just over 40. Giuseppe Russo, AJ Dillon, Jeff Wilson, or Singletary. Half PPR.
I'm going Dillon, but man, is it close. Singletary over 70% of the snaps last week. I saw something along the lines of anytime Singletary's seen 70% or more snaps, he's put up like 18 plus points in like 80% of the time. I mean, the guy balls out when he's used, and he's being used right now over everybody. So I do like Singletary, but it is inconsistent week to week. Dillon just feels safer. I don't have Dillon really. I have him in one league, and that's my number one league, though. I'm killing it. It's my where the one time I went 0 running back. I'm switching my philosophy for next year, by the way. Like, that team is blowing up.
I never want us to write like bell cow again. There's no such thing.
I can't believe how bad they've been this year. But regardless, AJ Dillon's been my running back 1, and he's been solid like all year. So I don't think they'll have any problem beating the Pats, him finding the end zone. So I'm going to go Dillon there. But, I mean, these guys are all within a few of each other. It's close.
Yeah, I like Dillon. He's almost a must-start for me every week.
There we go.
Yeah, rushing yard responded saying Singletary's the safest. Debatable. But AJ Dillon has a chance to either drop 20 or 5 or less, which is awesome.
Does he ever score 5 or less, though? I feel like he's been like 8 or more every week so far this year. Because he just gets such good goal line volume, and he catches the ball more, too, this year. So I don't think he's a 5 or less guy. I think he's safe.
Yeah, and the Packers are going to have time possession at like 75% today.
So. Seriously, that's true.
Jeremiah Moore. I've got Kamara in my lineup. Yikes.
Oh, Jeremiah. No.
Jeremiah, you need to be an adult and wake up early. I'm needing some major upside. Do I start Mac Hollins or Bateman over Gabe Davis? I think Gabe is the highest.
Oh, no. If you're looking for ceiling, it's Gabe. And yeah, you need the upside now with that 0 from Kamara, as compared to the 4 points he was getting you anyways when he was in. Yeah, you got to go Gabe if you're going for ceiling. Like, I need upside. Do I go Mac Hollins? I make that joke, and he had like 30 points last week. But Stepdad Davis is definitely the one I go with there.
Actually, I saw on Twitter that Kamara was started on 45% of Yahoo leagues. Would you, as a commissioner, do anything about that? If you're on the West Coast, like say you're in California and your whole league's in the West Coast,
that's more forgivable. Like if you had to get up at 6 a.m. to check the news, and it was like he practiced all week. He was trending towards being in. There was no
like, oh, it's a game time decision. There was none of that.
Usually Schefter will give like his usual like 2 a.m. tweets of some kind of like, a little sketchier on Kamara than expected, like be ready for it. There was no warning signs. So I could see that. Like if you live on the West Coast and you would have had to be up like at what time? 5:30 a.m. like legitimately. Mm-hmm. I could see that. Us guys on the East Coast, like 9:30, I get it. Like that's relatively early, but most of the time you're awake at that point. And if you're not, I think it sucks to suck then. But if you're on the West Coast, like 5 a.m., okay, that's justifiable. Like if you didn't set a 5 a.m. alarm to get up early on your Sunday day of
that your running back made, like there wasn't even there's no game time decision. There was no really any signs of him being out today.
It came out of nowhere. It really did. So I can see that. I can see like as a commissioner, my rule would be like if you needed to know this news by 6:30 a.m., like 7 a.m. is my line. If you should have been up by 7:30 and been okay is where I kind of draw that line. But I get what you're saying. As a commissioner, I might allow like that person to be like, here's my replacement. You can't pick somebody up, but like if you have someone on the bench, you're like, this is my 1-for-1 swap. I could see that being allowed. That's up to commissioners though. It's not like you have to, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on the etiquette there?
Yeah, actually someone I was looking, so when someone, I forget who it was, tweeted it out, and then there was a response that said, I'm a commissioner and that happened in my league. I'm in California or something like that. And they're just giving what the projected points would have been. Which I kind of like that.
Like, because Kamar's been underperforming his projection all year.
I think he was like 14 or something.
I tweeted out yesterday, buy low on Kamara, 2 touchdowns are coming. Like, I thought he was going to have a huge day. So I think he might have outperformed 14 points, but you can't just give Kamara, who hasn't had more than like 8 on the year, 14 points. I think you have to have whoever's the next man up on your bench, you can get what he does, and that's it if you even allow that. It's kind of also horseshit if you're the commissioner, like making that rule late. Like, I think
I always like the outside the box thinking.
I would allow, if I'm the commissioner in that instance, I would 100% bring that to a league vote. Like that, the commissioner can't just be like, nope, I'm going to do this. Screw you guys. I would bring it to a league vote. I think it's right on the fence for me. For me, 7:30 or later, I wouldn't allow it myself. But I would also allow the league, even if I was the commissioner, I'd still let the league vote on it too, and see what's said. We got Jeremiah Moore in response to us answering his question. Maybe some more context. Maybe just wants to rant. What do we got for you?
Well, I am on the West Coast and I am the commissioner, but I think I just got to eat it. I'm going against the first place guy who's 3-0. He's got Hurts and so it's kind of a sucky thing to do. But he also has Dalvin Cook, who's doing crappy, so it kind of evens out.
Okay, not bad.
It sounds
So,
like
yeah,
you just
so-
want a peaceful Sunday, getting a 0, moving on to next week against the number 1 guy.
I think I can still pull out the win. Honestly, my team's pretty stacked. I got Josh Allen at quarterback, so we even out there. But I just need upside. So I don't know. Like,
What was your first thoughts when you woke up and you saw Kamara was out?
I woke up. Well, see, I got a 9-month-old in bed next to me, so I can't really. He doesn't sleep at all anyways. So I can't set my alarm and check it.
Right.
And I honestly forgot about it last night. I didn't even check it.
Yeah.
So
There was no news last night, though. There's no saving yourself. Like, that's why we're like on the fence here. If there's even a warning sign, like.
The thing that's weird too is that they're in England, so they're 6 hours ahead of us. Like, how is this not out beforehand or at like some weird time at whoever, like,
Yeah.
Nick Underhill or whoever's in London with the Saints? Like, why wouldn't I have no idea why no one knew about it?
Yeah. So I've got Matt Collins in my flex I benched Pierce. Would you rather go Pierce or ETN or even Bateman over Matt Collins?
I think I'd go Bateman. We've seen the big play upside with him. Get a piece of that shootout atmosphere. You have Daddy on one side, you have Bateman on the other, and you just hope it kind of goes back and forth.
Bills are still ravaged by injuries too, secondary.
Yeah, so I'd go that way just because Holland's facing the Broncos secondary, the fewest points allowed. I know he had a big game last week, but it's Matt Collins. I mean, he's done nothing in his career other than last week. Right. I'll go for the talent of Bateman and hope for a shootout style atmosphere, and you just ride that wave with that game. That's where I'd lean into.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you.
I respect the calm demeanor with a tough situation to wake up into. It seems like you're kind of zen on it. You're like, whatever, I'm gonna eat it. And if you win, you win. That's the ultimate kind of middle finger to your opponent. If you take him down with Kamara in the lineup, the number 1 seed, that's the type of thing your fantasy locker room can really rally around. So I like it.
It does help. I just checked Dalvin Cook, and at least I had Dalvin Cook starting in my league, and he has me 7.5 points. So you're not really in that big of a hole.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Well, best of luck. I hope it works out for you. Sorry you ended up having to miss that. West Coast, though, it's totally understandable. But you're not going to wake your 9-month-old to check your lineup at 5:30 in the morning. I can understand that one. So cheers, Jeremiah. I hope your team gets all the points it needs.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cheers. All righty. Back to the questions we left off with our guy, Jose Vega.
Would you banged up McCaffrey or James Robinson full point PPR? I
got to still stick with our guy McCaffrey there. I think this is his coming out party. I know he's hurt. The risk there, of course, is what if he re-aggravates something or they lighten the load. I don't think there's any indication they're thinking about doing that though. So give me Christian McCaffrey there. As good as Robinson's been, and the weather might favor that type of slug it out type of thing. Full point PPR, McCaffrey just has been a god historically. I'm not ready to jump ship yet. What about you?
Yeah, I have McCaffrey in one of my lineups, and there's no way I'd take him out. Even though he could, especially with the thigh too, it's he could be out in the second quarter. Who knows?
That's it. I think McCaffrey's one of those guys. Until he's forced out of your lineup, you just have to keep him in, and because you're going to be without him soon enough. So keep riding it out.
Get James Robinson into that flex or RB2 spot.
I know. Can you somehow get Robinson in? He's in my top 12 running backs. I love Robinson, so it's not any slight on him. I'm the running back 3 in fantasy right now. See if you can get him in there because I think he's going to have a good day too.
He's a sell high on Jackson's expected fantasy points.
I don't know that I buy it. And I love Jackson. I mean, obviously his articles he's a genius. I mean, he's way smarter than either of us. So I like Jackson's opinions, but I don't know that this is unsustainable. I think Robinson's just that good. And he deserves the respect.
I think a lot of his premise was he's on pace for 22 touchdowns.
Which he won't. He's not going to get 22 touchdowns. Yeah. But as good as the Jags are right now.
ETN's usage going up every week. I don't know.
If you're buying Trevor Lawrence. So if you're buying Trevor Lawrence, and I think he looks really good too. I'm buying this offense as a whole. I don't think he's going to score 22, but 15 to 16 really isn't impossible if this offense stays as good as it has been. And I think it's pretty sustainable. With Kirk thriving, none of it feels like that. 22 feels unsustainable, but 15 to 16 doesn't, in my opinion, for scores.
Yeah. DJ Johnson, RB2, and a flex. CMC, Jamal Williams, James Robinson, Jeff Wilson.
Whew. I've got to definitely go Christian McCaffrey again. As long as he's in, you're locking him in. Jamaal versus James Robinson's real tough. It's not Jeff for me. He doesn't match the upside of these guys. I think I'm going to lean Jamaal. What about you, CJ?
I feel like today's an ETN day for some reason. I think they're going to – I know the weather does suck, but I feel like they're going to get ETN more involved in the pass game, especially if they do go down. I don't know. I feel like he put this question in because he wants Jamal Williams, James Robinson. But I'm going to go J-Rob CMC.
Yeah, I do love J-Rob. I really do. And he's a little bit safer than Jamal. Jamal just feels I don't know why. Because everything suggests, again, most red zone touches, most touchdowns. Like,
I don't know if it's
this
going
year's
to be
James
like
Conner.
that. Yeah,
But
I don't know. I feel like they just love using two running backs.
I do too. So I'm a little worried that he's like somewhat of a trap. If he doesn't find the end zone, if it's Reynolds that gets the score today, he ends up being like a 9-pointer. Whereas Robinson just like, yep, scoring touchdowns again because I'm just James Robinson and you always underestimate me type of guy. Like, I'm going to go Robinson. Robinson CMC for me. That's a good one, though. I mean, damn, that's really tough.
Giuseppe, flex PPR, Zeke, Gibson, Garrett Wilson.
I like Zeke. You know, I want it to be Garrett Wilson, and I think it could be, but I do want to see if I have the option to see what the Zach Wilson-led offense looks like.
I'm nervous, really nervous about that.
Very nervous. And maybe it ends up being there's a 5 to 10% chance it's like an actual good thing. And Zach Wilson hits his ceiling, and suddenly he's slinging it all over the yard, and we got like this crazy blow-up. There's a 5% chance that happens. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty steep downgrade. And Flacco wasn't good, but at least he was just chucking and sustaining volume.
That and I do love like the first week of Wilson at rookie camp being like, oh yeah, Joe Flacco throws a better ball than a more catchable ball.
Zach Wilson freezes it out now.
It's just Elijah Moore. I think it's Elijah Moore week, to tell the truth, which I hate, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
I'm gonna go Zeke here. I feel better about Zeke scoring than I do Gibson.
Omar Madison scoring with Cook in your lineup is always a treat. Yep, I had that this morning.
Yeah, nothing like waking up and seeing that. You're like, yay, thanks for starting you couldn't wait till 1 p.m. to start ruining my day. You had that 9:30. And 100%. I'm with you, Omar. Like, yay, top of the morning to you. Here's a Madison.
Especially how Madison changed his number to 2. So he's not like a number 2. He's too big for a 2.
Yeah.
Like Dalvin looks like a number 2. So when he caught it, I was like, oh shit, Dalvin's gonna score. And then
nope.
Dane Jennings, morning. Gino or Rodgers chasing 2 points. Shitty weather here in Philly. Cheers, boys.
Honestly, if you're chasing points, how nuts is this sentence out of my mouth? Gino has more upside than Rodgers. But Gino's already outscoring Rodgers on the season, which is nuts in its own right. In terms of ceiling, I don't know that Rodgers has a really big one. Like, Patriots secondary is bad, so there is, Rodgers is due for that random 3 to 5 touchdown day where he just is like 170 yards, but like 5 scores. That might be today. Our secondary could allow that. But Gino's got Detroit. Like, Detroit is really bad. Second most points allowed to quarterbacks. He's got 2 18-plus point days in his 3 games. I'm going to go Gino if you're chasing points. I don't know. Am I nuts?
Kind of, yeah. I'd feel better if I'm chasing points to have Aaron Rodgers' name in my lineup.
Yeah.
You talk about the fantasy locker room a lot, and if you're benching Aaron Rodgers for Geno Smith, it's not going over well.
That's true. They can't respect that. I have Rodgers higher. Like, I'm higher on Rodgers this week than I typically am. It just feels like Rodgers coming out and just smashing the Patriots, like burying them at home at Lambeau. Yeah, just go Rodgers. Don't overthink it. Like, I wanted to at least paint the narrative for Geno, but you're right. Like, your locker room would be very upset with you. You got to go Rodgers. Go with the acid.
Giuseppe Patterson's in, so you're good.
Patterson is in, but you should still go Drake London over A-Rob.
Yeah,
I'd go Drake London over Patterson today too. Like, just with the added risk of Patterson being out like early or re-aggravating something, I just go Drake London over all those guys. But A-Rob's the clear distant third in either of those equations.
Austin Firster, what's up, Wolfpack? Like and share. Thank you, sir.
Trade
away Khalil Herbert, Lockett, and Andrews for AJ Brown, Aaron Jones. Thoughts?
Yes.
And
Andrews, actually, no. I just saw Herbert, Lockett, but then you add Andrews to this. This does get trickier. I I still think I do it, but I don't love Aaron Jones. I'm not like sprinting out to get this guy. Love the player, love the talent, love the 30-point any week ceiling, but it is very boom or bust with him right now. Like Dylan's the steadier option. So Andrews is just such an edge. Like only Kelsey matches him at tight end, and he's already starting to like run laps around Kelsey even at this point.
Yeah.
But Herbert and Lockett are just like stopgaps. Like you're not really ever trusting Lockett. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a really fucking hard one.
I think I'd lean the AJ Brown Jones.
I do lean their way. Anytime it's this tricky in a trade, though, I almost am just like, I'm not going to mess with it. Like, I want to feel really good about my trade. Like, I'm clearly getting better. What if Herbert thrives today? And, there already was talk he was better in camp than Montgomery. This coaching staff has no allegiance to Montgomery, to either of them, really. But
he's in a contract year, too, isn't he? They could honestly, they could trade him at the deadline.
Yeah, like so Herbert could just be a locked in, he could just take that job and be a really high quality running back the rest of the year. So it's too close of a deal that I'm like, I'm gonna stay pat. I just don't like Jones enough. Gibson versus Wilson. Oh man, I'm gonna go Gibson, but it's close. It's real close.
Russell Kaiser, Ertz, or Njoku?
Ertz. Tight end 4 in the year, bankable 10 targets every week. Not a good corners, but bad for the receivers there, not the tight end. I like Ertz there. Joker's just too inconsistent.
Matthew Feeney, good morning, fellas. Last flex spot. Higbee, Bobby Trees, or Allen Robinson. By the way, there's nothing funnier than Truth just having no idea who Bobby Trees was. He was Bob Trees.
Clearly, it's Robert Woods. I like Woods here. He looked better than he's looked all year. Like it seems like he's finally gotten himself back up to game speed. I like that game to there's sneaky shootout upside, I think, to that game. The Titans versus the Colts. I don't trust Robinson against a good defense. He's not even doing it against bad defenses. And Higbee does have a high floor, but it's fucking Higbee. It's like you're gonna get 10 targets, 6 catches, 40 yards. I'll go for Woods and go for a score. I don't know. What about you?
I like Higbee better than Allen Robinson in that offense. I'm gonna go Higbee
over Trees too.
Woods. Yeah, I think so. I think it's becoming a Burks offense. That offense also just sucks.
It could be, yeah.
Tunes, Stevenson, Dillon, Dobbins sit one of these. Yeah, I'm sitting Dobbins.
I'm sitting Dobbins. Yeah, let's see him get the full workload before we trust him. As talented as he is, we got to wait that one
out. Russ Kaiser, Uncle Lenny, or Javonte?
Uncle Lenny. I mean, he hasn't scored and he's still putting up 15 a game. So when the touchdowns start coming, and I think it's going to be as early as this week with Godwin back, Mike Evans back, we're back to this offense. And it's I think that game's going to be a fun one tonight. I'm looking forward to that. Chiefs Bucks. Give me Uncle Lenny. That Broncos team is just, could they rebound this week, especially after we tweeted out our hate towards Russell Wilson? You clearly hate him. What great analysis. You called him a tool. How are people that upset? Russell Wilson's a tool. His behavior is very toolish. It wasn't driven by some sickened hate. I don't hate the guy. I don't want him to get injured or anything. He's a tool bag. His behaviors are toolish, and his teammates always hate him. I couldn't believe how controversial that ended up being, is calling him a tool. I don't know.
Maybe a lot of Sierra fans.
Maybe, I don't know. But that offense, I as good as Javonte is, every time he touches the ball, I'm like, why are we not getting 25 touches a game for Javonte? He looks so friggin' good every time. Mm-hmm. I don't trust the usage yet. Whereas Uncle Lenny, 80% of the snaps, all there is the role is too good with Lenny to bench right
now. Sarah Riley, half PPR flex, Hollywood, Gabe Davis, Dylan, Wilson, Samuel, and stuff.
A lot of good options here. I kind of want to go Gabe and just go for the boom against the Ravens. It's Gabe or Marquise. I'm just a little worried about J.C. Horn on Marquise this week, so I'm going to go Gabe and just hope for a blow-up. What about you?
And he was a little banged up in practice this week, wasn't he? I know Gabe was too, but
they both were, yeah. I mean, maybe Dylan's probably the safest, but I don't know. I kind of want the boom of one of those receivers.
I was gonna say it's one of those ones where you want to know the situation, but let's go with Daddy.
Stepdaddy could become the real dad this week. We'll see.
S. Singh, PPR. Which two should I start? CD, Drake, Curtis, Amari.
I think it's the first two. I really like Cooper this week too, though. And Curtis Samuel, I mean, he's really locked himself into like these are 4 really good options. Like a nice dependable wide receiver 2 for Curtis. CD though, I mean, 3rd in total targets. Cooper rush has not been a huge negative to him. In fact, it's been a positive. He could have had like 30 points last week. Washington secondary is atrocious. I like CD and I like Drake. Yeah, I'm going with those two. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I'm happy CD actually has proven to be a receiver 1 after there's a ton of questions, especially after week 1. Yeah,
I'm going to adjust my rankings to reflect that too. I just looked. I'm lower on CD than I feel, so I'm bumping him up in my ranks. I had him below Cooper. I don't feel.
I mean, he definitely will lose some targets to Gallup and Schultz, but I'm going CD this week. CD and Drake.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, more target competition this week, but Cooper Rush is locked in on him. So yeah, I like him. And then Drake London versus Cooper is tough. But if one's going to disappear, I feel like Cooper is the one that just kind of like abandons you. Even though 10, 11 targets, 100 yards and a score back-to-back weeks, like he's pretty damn locked in too. I'd say Curtis Samuel's the distance 3rd here. But I'm going to go CD and Drake, I think. Yeah. What is that you agree?
Yeah, I'm with you.
All righty.
Pat Sullivan, morning gents, receiver in a flex and half PPR. Davis, Juju, Dortch, and Stevenson. Going Stevenson and Davis for me.
Me as well. Yep, locked in. We're in a line, lockstep there. Yeah.
Dortch is. I mean, Rondell's going to take that spot. It seems.
I agree. Yeah, he was good, but he's a lot sketchier with Rondell back now. You there?
Yeah, wait. I didn't see the question. Having second thoughts.
Delay over there, CJ. Get together.
No, having second thoughts on flexing Kirk over Mike Williams. No, I want Mike Williams there.
I'm going Mike Williams there. Yeah, I should have Mike Williams higher in my rankings. I definitely believe in that. So let me see if that's what my rankings reflect right now. I have Mike Williams higher for sure. And my rankings do not reflect that. So I'll be going back in and adjusting. That's why I love the show. It helps me like make sure my rankings are aligned with the advice I want to give. So I'm going to go Mike Williams over Kirk, especially with the weather. That's even more of a reason.
Yeah. DJ Johnson, half PPR, receiver 3. Wilson, Ayuk, Rondell.
Definitely not Rondell. I'm going to go Ayuk and kind of see how this one pans out. I want to wait on Garrett Wilson when I can, and I think Brent Ayuk's a good enough reason to wait.
Brent Australia, RB, Cam Akers, or Ramondre?
I'm going Ramondre, definitely. Definitely going Ramondre there. I can't trust Akers. Fumbled last week when he finally started to get used again. Who knows what that's going to do.
Tunes, Bateman, Dotson, Henderson, Dobbins, Noah Brown need 2.
I'm going to go Bateman, not Noah Brown with all those other weapons back. I'm going to go Bateman, Dotson, just hope for a couple big scores. What about you?
Bateman, Noah Brown. Noah Brown, I feel like it's going to be kind of useless with Gallup back. I'm going to go Bateman. Yeah, I'll go Bateman, Dotson.
All right.
I'm still waiting on Dobbins.
Yeah, definitely waiting on Dobbins. And I don't trust that Rams running back situation right now at all.
Hollywood, Daddy, or Gallup in the flex?
I'm going Daddy there. I have Hollywood and Daddy literally 1920. I'm just a little worried about JC Horn again with Hollywood. So yeah, I'm gonna go Daddy Davis there. All right, rankings have been updated to reflect Mike Williams above Kirk. CeeDee Lamb bumped up a little bit as well in this last rankings update.
DJ Johnson, half PPR flex. Samuel, Burks, Godwin.
Samuel to me. I want to wait it out with Godwin if I can. I'm happy he's back, but let's see him make it through a game. Let's see what his role is. Like it could be a warm-up type of game where they get him a few snaps, get his feet under him, and then not much. So yeah, I'm gonna go also, Samuel.
His re-injury is probably really high.
Yeah.
Bob Camp, Khalil Herbert, Jamal Williams, Aaron Jones in the flex, full PPR.
I'm gonna go Khalil Herbert, my favorite option of the streamers this week. Mm-hmm. Are you Williams or Herbert this week?
No, I'm Herbert over Williams.
And
I love
over.
how we just don't care about Aaron Jones.
Yeah, exactly. We're not even considering Aaron Jones over these two backups. Just because Aaron Jones has been so inconsistent. It's the other two guys are going to lock into 18 touches today. So yeah, give me Herbert. I'm there.
Yeah, I'm with you. David Gauman, hey Wolf, Daddy Davis or Garrett Wilson?
I'm gonna go Daddy there. I don't want it. Like I keep saying, if I can wait it on the Jets, be patient, see who Zach Wilson favors. If he's even anything good at all, I'm gonna wait it out. So yeah, I'm gonna go Daddy.
Tunes, Penny, Melvin Gordon, ETN, or Julio?
Penny. I think this is like, if you're not going to use Penny this week, when are you going to use him? Detroit, now Detroit's offense is banged up, so maybe he gets the ball time of possession a bit more. This is a Penny week. This is 20 carries, 100 and a touchdown Penny type week.
Lawrence Franklin had Kamara. Who would you start to replace Dameon Pierce or Kareem Hunt?
They're very similar, and I don't think either has a crazy ceiling that's going to propel you to absorb that absence. If one had the higher ceiling, I guess it's Hunt having a multi-touchdown day. Whereas Pierce, if he does damage, it would be early. I think they're going to get game flowed out. So I guess I'd lean Hunt a little bit more for the upside. I do have Pierce higher in general terms, but if I need multiple touchdowns, Hunt's actually third in the league in red zone touches right now. Or he might even be number one.
I was going to say Hunt, definitely.
So yeah, I think you got better 2-touchdown upside with Hunt to make up for that loss.
Eric Brewer, Daddy, Judy, Bateman got to start 1 half PPR.
Oh, it's Daddy. Going Daddy for that shootout.
Danny Jennings, half PPR, Mike Carter or Lazard?
Neither. Mike Carter, I guess, if I have to go one. But I'd go Reynolds over either of these guys. If Josh Reynolds is out there, go for that upside, in my opinion. But if you have to pick between those two, Michael Carter.
Giuseppe Everett or Pat Fry, full PPR?
I'm gonna go Pat Fry. He's steady. I like Pat Fry a lot.
I'm always an Everett guy. CJ whipped out his Jeffrey Dahmer look today. Just finished up the doc last night. Had to look like him today.
You carve up a human this morning for breakfast?
I was actually thinking of that. I went up for a little, got some steak gorgonzola last night. I was eating it, and I was thinking of that while I was eating it. Not great.
It's actually fucked up for me to say, you carve up a human for breakfast. You go, I was thinking about that. Was your response before you continue to give context if somebody cut out right there? Yeah. Police are going to be showing up to CJ's house momentarily, folks.
My internet just cuts over after I say that. Greg Sarno, half PPR, Hines or Pierce?
Pierce, yeah. I think we answered that one for you on the stream, and we said Hurts over Herbert. Yeah.
Yeah. Russo, Stafford or Wentz?
I'm going to go Stafford. Yeah.
Stafford.
Yeah.
Howland, Pat Fry, and Njoku?
I'm going to go Fry. Yeah, Fry.
Kirk Cousins is trash. He is.
The classic Ryan Higgs complaints are coming in.
Always very settled on Sundays.
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown or Mike Williams, full PPR?
My man Bus, we're going Mike Williams today. Bad Houston secondary, no Keenan Allen. Oh, yeah.
Gabe Davis is the dad from Sandlot.
Nice. I almost spit my water while I was taking a sip there.
Fam first, should I stick with Kirk in that Philly rain, or I have McLaurin or Bateman also in the rain?
I'd rather have rain. If all of them in the rain, fam, go the best option. That's Kirk. And he can do it in the short game. So, yeah, I'm going Christian Kirk there.
Although I could definitely picture McLaurin burning Diggs at some point tonight. Danny Jennings going against Hurts and AJ Brown. What do I do? Drink heavily, I guess. It's very windy.
So it sounds like really, really bad weather, as Heggs is pointing out here. I think AJ Brown too. Hurts one, I'm not worried about fantasy wise because he'll run. He can get it done in multiple ways. AJ Brown's the type of guy too. You just give him the short stuff
quick
and let him
slants and screens and all that stuff. He's fine.
It could even with shitty weather, that means they zone in a little bit more on AJ Brown passing wise, in my opinion. So,
but a Devonta Smith, maybe not as much. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark Gonzalez, Ayuk or Zay Jones. Zay Jones is out, and then Stepdaddy or Jeff Wilson or Pollard.
I'm going. Zay Jones is out, Mark. So that one's easy. Thanks for the layup. And then pick 2, Stepdad, and I'm going Jeff Wilson. Nice, safe 10 points. Maybe he finds the end zone, gets you 16. Do love Pollard. I mean, Pollard's look good, and expected opportunity wise, him and Zeke are like 50-50 in terms of like the high value touches right now. So I do really like Pollard, but like Wilson, just like lock in your 80 yards and maybe he finds the end zone. So give me the stepdad, give me Jeff. But it's close. What about you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I have Pollard on a team, and for some reason I just can't start him unless Zeke gets hurt. There's just something about him, like my brain doesn't allow me to start him. Unless
this is a different role than Pollard's had in the past. Like, he is more involved, and it is. I know it's like Pollard. It feels weird. He's definitely safer in my opinion than he has been in years past. But yeah, I'm going Jeff. I feel like Jeff is locked in.
Joe Garrity, PPR, Dylan or Wilson?
I like Dylan there. Better talent, better like role. Yeah, give me Dylan.
I don't think you've said Jeff Wilson for one question yet.
Usually I'm all in on Jeff Wilson. I said Jeff Wilson for Mark at least.
Oh, this is why I was zoning out earlier. So me and Heggs both got Ingram in our picks today. So he was at 23 rushing yards, lost 4 yards, and then went to the locker room, but he just returned. And he got an 8-yard run. So
okay. I was gonna say you pushed that one, CJ, coming onto the show here. All right, I'm gonna go rapid fire. We got about 15 minutes or so left here, Wolfpack. About 18 minutes till we got to sign off and get our own questions in there. Now, if you want a more in-depth answer, you know how to do it. That's super chat. But either way, free way to support the site as I get ready for this rapid fire is that thumbs up. We got to get to 20 likes on Facebook at least. I don't know how many we got on YouTube, but hit that thumbs up button for us if you haven't already. I'm going to take a sip of water, and it's time for some rapid fire.
I love that intro.
All righty. We just covered that. So, Brissett or Mariota? I'm going Mariota as a QB streamer, my favorite streamer of the week at the position. Who's the start receiver? Bateman, Godwin, Wilson, or Samuel? I'm going to go Curtis Samuel, just so bankable volume right now. Hags, one thing the weather doesn't stop is the drinking. Love you, Denny Jennings. That's the good stuff. Njoku, Conklin, or Everett? I'm going to go Conklin, weirdly, just ahead of Everett. Everett has the higher touchdown ceiling, though, Donald Brown. Let us know where you go. Which two of the four running backs do I start? Aaron Jones, Cordell Patterson, Jamal Williams, Josh Jacobs. Going Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones there, Jason. Full PPR, Zay Jones is out, so you're going to go Josh Reynolds there. Ugly situation, but PPR, Cam Akers, Michael Carter, or Damian Harris. I like Damian Harris as the best bet for a touchdown there. Wide receiver, Reynolds or Rick James with Zay Jones out. Definitely Reynolds still. Big fan of him. Richard B, start Waller or Ertz today? Second question. So I'm going to go Waller over Ertz. Pick one to start, Dubs, Judy, or Burks. I kind of like Dubs. I don't know. Maybe Judy gets it done today, but I like Dubs. Start Goff, Carr, or Stafford. I'm going to start Stafford very slightly there. Start two, Gabe Davis, Lazard, Penny, Sanders. I'm definitely going Gabe Davis, and I'm going to go Penny there in a good matchup. What's going on? Alex Shan, welcome in. Lamar over Hurts? Yes, I would do that at this point, particularly with the weather there. Would I be crazy to start Josh Reynolds over Dameon Pierce? That's not crazy. It really isn't. I'd go Pierce myself, but Reynolds really does have a nice upside narrative today. B. Cooks and Palmer starting as well. I'd go both of those guys over Reynolds as well. So I'd go Reynolds, Pierce, and Palmer, but it's close. Huge week 4 bus. I'm 100% in agreement with you there. Let's fucking get these wins, baby. Cooks or Stevenson? I really like Stevenson, David Phillips, and Cooks kind of sketches me out these days. So yeah, I'm a little bit lower on him. We got one league started Dak, then Tua. Hopefully you're not. I'm starting Mariota today, too, and so you better not curse him. Ugh. Be coming for you. Marcus Valdez-Scantling, half PPR. Kamara. Well, Kamara didn't play. he's this morning, so hopefully he was out of your lineup because otherwise you're screwed. I would go Jamal Williams over those guys. Polak Desai, 10-point full 10-man full point PPR. CMC Javonte James, you're going CMC there. But man, that's good options. James Robinson would be next up if you needed to. Matthew Feeney, Philly's a soup. Tarps out, but it's a mess. I know I hate these situations, but I trust the main guys there still. Everett or Pitts, closer than I want it to be, says Tunes. I'm going to go. It is closer than you want to, but I'm going to stick with Pitts there. Who's my flex? Connor or Jamal Williams? Eckler and Chubb as starters. I'm going to go Jamal Williams, but very, very slightly Juan Pena. Great options there. Mike Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Garrett Wilson, Thielen. Thielen already played Juan, so if he isn't in, you can't use him there. I'm going to go Mike Williams as the clear-cut number one. I would have had Thielen above these other options, so hopefully you used him. And if not, I go Garrett Wilson over Jeudy very slightly. Who for you just asked that twice, but close. AK is out and his game is almost over. I'd go, yeah, so he's kind of reminding him. Thank you, Denny Jennings. Going towards CJ's no house advantage plays. Fields passing yards is 145 on FanDuel, the lowest ever for a starting QB. And guess what? I'm still hitting the under. That's wild. Birthday to Juan Pena. Cheers to 33. Sipping on the Sunshine IPA. Hey, happy birthday to Juan Pena. Hopefully it's full with fantasy delights. We're glad you came to tune in with us today. And hopefully you're celebrating with some nice, I believe you always check out the local dispensaries, if I'm not mistaken, Juan. So hopefully you're celebrating on every sip of sunshine, bowls, whatever it is, your method of consumption today. I hope you're loading it on up. Happy 33rd birthday to you, brother. The Larry Bird year. I'm in my Larry Bird year now. It's been a great one. So hopefully you have a good one too. David N. Youngsung, Bateman, Pollard, Eli Moore. I'm going to go Bateman, but it's not convincingly. Curtis Samuel. Yep. I absolutely would start him. Let's ride. Let's go and ride, baby. Touchdown Hill with 2-point conversion. Oh, Taysom Hill, of course, scored the touchdown. I actually was high on him in my tight end ranking, so hopefully some people got him in there. Opinion change for FlexBot. Dubs, McLaurin, Pollard. I kind of like Dubs out of there. I don't know. CJ, what do you think for Hegs? Dubs, McLaurin, or Pollard?
Oh, I get this question every single week with him. He hates McLaurin, so I'll just go Dubs just to appease him.
Yeah, appease him.
He's doing anything in his willpower to trade McLaurin at this point.
I like it. I actually do go Pollard over Etienne, though. I have him higher this week. Should I drop Carter for a backup tight end? Knox, Logan Thomas, Ingram. No, I don't love Carter, but you could drop him. Just why for any of those tight ends? I don't bother with any of them. For Disley, yeah, Disley, come on. No, you're keeping Carter over those tight ends, but maybe there's something sexier out there, like upside-wise. Danny Dwyer from Bev, good to see you. Need some Ramondre or Josh Reynolds in the flex? I love them both today. I'm going to go Ramondre, though, myself. Where do you draw the line with Reynolds? I know you're a big Reynolds fan. Do you take him over Ramondre today, CJ?
No, I love Ramondre this week.
I'm huge. I think he's going to have a touchdown, like 8 catches. I think it's a big Ramondre day.
Yeah, me too.
Full PPR, too, so even helps him out. Moore, Dortch, or Godwin? Godwin, I guess. That's where you can go for the Godwin upside. Moore or McKissick for Patrick Conlon? I don't know. Ew. Like Josh Reynolds? I would go Josh Reynolds well over these guys. Josh Palmer out there. Go check out CJ's wide receiver streamer article over at rotostreetjournal.com. I'd take any of those. I think you had like 5 picks in there. I loved them all. Like I'd go any of those guys over Moore or McKissick, especially Josh. Josh Reynolds was featured in that, right, CJ?
Yep, he was on there.
Yeah. Higbee or Everett? I'm going to go Everett for the touchdown. Palmer, Reynolds, Samuel, or Ayuk for the wide receiver too. I think I just stick out with Curtis Samuel, given that steady volume. But man, like they're all right neck and neck, Nicola. 3 players already gone. Jefferson, Hill, Higgins. That's a good start right there, Austin Firster. I think Jeff just scored, if I'm not mistaken. He had Tua too. So prayers up for Tua, but I guess that benefits you if there's any silver lining. CJ streaming from London. Is that why his cam stinks? You in London there, CJ, with the kid on?
No, I used to be in London, not anymore.
Good thing I had Jamaal in my lineup. Totally forgot about the game. Oh yeah, so it's good, Marquez. That didn't burn you. Let's go Blues. The truth knows stuff. All right. I don't know what that means, but let's go, Eduardo. Matt C. Help me out. Full PPR. CEH. I mean, CEH is the RB4, and I know it's sketchy volume. Love that sound, CJ. The good crack of a drink. Convincing me to get cracked in today.
Truly.
What do we got over there? Truly? Nice.
Yeah, truly marks today.
There you go. I'm going to go CEH, even though I love Ramondre today. But it's like weirdly unsustainable volume, it seems like, for CEH in terms of like he's not seeing a ton of volume yet. He's the running back 4. That doesn't seem likely, but in a very efficient attack, like he just keeps finding the end zone. I love Ramondre, but I got to stick with CEH there. Matt C. Good question, though. Patterson, Mike Williams, and Kirk. Pick 2. I'm going to bench Patterson there. Need 1-point PPR. Aaron Jones, Khalil Herbert, or Jamal Williams. I'm going to go Khalil Herbert there. Bateman, Brees, or Garrett Wilson for Top Chef. I'm going to go Brees. I really like Brees today. Chance it with CMC or pivot to Brees Hall. You got to stick it with CMC there, but those are your other 2 options. Should I start DJ Moore or Ayuk? I mean, if DJ Moore doesn't do it against the worst secondary in the league, when's he ever going to do it? But that being said, I love Ayuk. The second most points allowed to wide receivers is the Rams, and at least Ayuk's getting it done. So I'm going to stick to Ayuk. I'm never a DJ Moore guy. Could see this being the blow-up week, but I'm not trusting him with Baker. I mean, they hate each other, it looks like. Wet and Wild here. Link, go ducking birds. Let's drink more. Later, fellas, Wolfpack. Sounds like Denny's already half in the bag and he wants more. That's our type of guy, Denny. Good stuff, baby. I will definitely put some back for you. C. Samuel or D. Smith, full PPR. I think I'm going to go C. Samuel now with the way the weather is. So I'm going to go make sure, Julian, my rankings reflect that. Fellas, 1 and 2, need some help curving Lizard 33. Ayuk, Garrett Wilson, Gabe Davis, Dubs need 2. I'm going to go Gabe, and I'm going to go Ayuk very slightly over Dubs. I made that decision in my other league, so that's where I'm leaning. Would you put in Duvernay for Garrett Wilson or Dotson or Judy? No. No, it's close one, but no. Jeff Wilson or Gibson? I'm going to go – I have Gibson higher in my rankings, and I don't know why. I don't like that anymore. So I'm going to go Jeff Wilson there. I got to get some love for Jeff Wilson, right? I'm bumping down Devonta Smith just because I'm worried about this weather for his prospects. So bumping him down. I'm not going to move AJ. Bumping AJ below Debo at least. All right. There we go. Wolfpack, that's it. I guess I didn't have premature rapid fire. 12:30, we wrapped it all up. But, guys, thank you so much for being here. Best of luck. Thank you for all the support.
We got Giuseppe Russo just popped up.
Oh, did he? Oh. No, I hit that one. I hit
No, his Colin. At least on mine, it's showing.
Oh, Colin.
Yeah, the Colin.
There he is. What's up, Giuseppe?
You guys see me?
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
I'm at the Giants game. I got no reception. I was going to ask that same question. I was going to ask Jeff Wilson or who was the other one?
Antonio Gibson?
Or Antonio Gibson, yes.
I'm going to go Wilson. Really close one, though. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I'm going Wilson. I have to go with Wilson there. I'm not going.
For some reason, I feel like this is the week he finds the end zone.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been waiting for it for a while here. So I'm going to bump it up. I'm going to bump up Gibson here. Yeah, we're going with Gibson, baby. Enjoy the game, Giuseppe. The best you can when it's the friggin' Giants over there.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Bleed blue, baby. Bleed blue.
Good stuff, Giuseppe. Thanks for the call and keep the streak alive. I love it. Enjoy the game,
fellas.
brother.
See
ya. We got a couple more coming in after the call in here. Knox, Everett, or Conklin. I'm going for the touchdowns with Knox. I always do it. He's disappointed me so far. I think this is the week.
That guy is gonna kill me. I hate him.
Dawson Knox. The death of CJ. Dawson Knox over there. Let me bump down Gibson just a little bit. I'm worried about him. I mean, he's saved himself with touchdowns late in games, back-to-back weeks. If he doesn't get those touchdowns, it's ugly. Should I trade Dalvin Cook? Full PPR league, he's ass. I mean, Saul said if you can capitalize on the name value and get something good, sure. But are people going to be buying? Are you going to get proper value? Because Cook is as good of a bet. He's playing a lot of snaps. He's still Dalvin Cook. I think your better bet's probably just to hold unless you can get good value. I'm not opposed to trading him, but I think you'd be selling low most likely. You guys are great. Thank you, Curving. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you, Tunes. You have a great day as well. Hard to pick a Jets. I agree 100% Curving. I'd love to see what happens there. Maybe one emerges and you're like, that's going to be his guy, but I'd love to watch it and see what happens. Vols the GOAT with the last question of the day. Hollywood, Gabe Davis or Bateman? Hollywood's questionable. So, yeah, I'm going Gabe, and I'm just targeting that shootout and hoping he blows up. So that's where I'm going, Vols the GOAT. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you again so much. If you don't mind on the way out, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't, subscribe. We'll be live again. Me and the Truth, 7:45 tonight to recap all your action. Hit the early waiver wire, all that good stuff. So come on back for all that goodness at 7:45. Best of luck until then. Hope you get all the points you need. And a wolf of fancy sheep. Be the wolf. Later, guys.
See ya.